Welcome to the world of Captain Samuel Grimm and the Shadow Marauder, a world where terror and treachery reign supreme, and where the line between the living and the dead is a mere whisper on the wind. Prepare to journey deeper into the heart of darkness than you ever thought possible, as you bear witness to the haunting legacy of one of history's most feared and cursed pirates. Captain Samuel Grimm was renowned throughout the seven seas as the most notorious pirate to ever hoist the Jolly Roger. With a long, twisted beard, a menacing reputation, and a ship called the Shadow Marauder, he struck fear into the hearts of sailors and coastal villagers alike. But what few knew was that behind his reputation as a ruthless plunderer, there was a haunted past that had driven him to a life of piracy. Grimm's adventures were legendary. He had raided countless ships, amassed a treasure trove that was the stuff of legends, and had a loyal crew of cutthroats who followed him without question. But it was during one fateful voyage to the uncharted waters of the Bermuda Triangle that his life took a horrific turn. As the Shadow Marauder sailed deeper into the heart of the triangle, a strange and eerie fog enveloped the ship. The crew, superstitious by nature, whispered tales of ghostly apparitions and cursed waters. Grimm scoffed at their fears, for he feared nothing in this world or the next, but soon strange things began to happen. Crew members vanished without a trace, leaving behind only their echoing screams. Mysterious, otherworldly lights danced on the water's surface, beckoning the crew to their doom. And each night, a haunting, mournful song echoed through the ship, a melody that seemed to speak of long-lost souls and a thirst for revenge. Grimm, a man who had never known fear, felt the icy fingers of dread clutch at his heart. He knew that he was being pursued by something far more sinister than any Navy vessel. He tried to turn the ship around, to flee the cursed waters, but it was as if an invisible force held them captive. One by one, Grimm's crew fell victim to the malevolent forces that surrounded them. They were dragged beneath the waves, their lifeless bodies washing ashore days later, their eyes empty of all humanity. The once proud captain watched helplessly as his loyal comrades met gruesome and supernatural ends. As the last of his crew succumbed to the horrors of the Bermuda Triangle, Grimm stood alone on the deck of the Shadow Marauder. He realized that the curse that haunted him had finally caught up. Desperation gnawed at his soul as he fought against the relentless force that sought to claim him. In the end, it was not a Navy fleet or a rival pirate that brought down the infamous Captain Samuel Grimm. It was a curse from the depths of the ocean, a curse that had waited patiently for centuries to exact its revenge. The Shadow Marauder vanished into the fog, never to be seen again. Some say that Grimm and his ship are still out there, sailing eternally through the cursed waters of the Bermuda Triangle, their souls forever trapped in a nightmarish purgatory. And so, the legend of Captain Samuel Grimm lives on, not as a swashbuckling hero, but as a cautionary tale of the horrors that await those who dare to venture into the unknown depths of the sea. Years passed, and the legend of Captain Samuel Grimm and his accursed ship, the Shadow Marauder, persisted in the annals of pirate lore. Sailors would gather around campfires, sharing chilling tales of the Bermuda Triangle and the vengeful spirits that haunted its waters. But Grimm's story did not end with his disappearance. Instead, it took on a new, more sinister chapter. Legends whispered that the captain himself had become one of the tormented souls, trapped within the cursed triangle. His lust for treasure and power had led him to make a dark pact with the sea itself, and now he was condemned to roam the ocean depths for all eternity. The Shadow Marauder would occasionally reappear, a phantom ship with tattered sails and a ghostly crew, emerging from the mist to terrorize any vessel that dared to venture into the triangle's cursed waters. Witnesses spoke of a skeletal figure at the helm, a skeletal hand clutching a dripping cutlass, and a hollow, echoing voice that cried out for vengeance. It was said that those unfortunate enough to encounter the Shadow Marauder would suffer a fate worse than death. Some claimed to have been driven mad by the haunting wails and eerie lights that danced across the ship's deck. Others told of crew members who vanished without a trace, leaving behind only their blood-stained belongings. As the years went by, the legend of the cursed pirate ship grew, drawing adventurers and treasure hunters to the Bermuda Triangle in search of the fabled riches that Grimm had accumulated during his plundering days. But none who entered the haunted waters ever returned, their fates sealed by the malevolent forces that lurked below. The legend of Captain Samuel Grimm and his accursed ship, the Shadow Marauder, continued to grow in infamy. The Bermuda Triangle became synonymous with terror, a place where the living and the dead were said to coexist in a perpetual state of torment. As the years passed, reports of encounters with the Shadow Marauder grew more chilling. Sailors who ventured into the cursed waters of the Bermuda Triangle spoke of relentless storms that seemed to manifest out of nowhere, with waves that reached monstrous heights. They told of a chilling fog that descended upon their ships, cloaking them in an otherworldly darkness. But it was the sightings of Captain Grimm himself that sent shivers down their spines. He would materialize on the decks of unsuspecting vessels, his skeletal figure clad in tattered, seaweed-covered remnants of his pirate attire. His eyes glowed with an eerie, malevolent light, and his voice, a spectral whisper that echoed with centuries of rage, would utter ominous warnings. "Turn back," he would intone, his voice sending tremors through the souls of all who heard it. "The curse is upon you now. Abandon hope, for there is no escape." Those unfortunate enough to defy his warning would witness the full extent of his wrath. The very elements seemed to obey his command. Thunder and lightning would rend the sky, and the sea itself would rise in fury, swallowing ships whole and dragging them down into the abyss. And then there were the stories of survivors, those who managed to escape the clutches of the Shadow Marauder. They spoke of the horrors they had witnessed aboard the cursed ship, where the crew members were skeletal remains bound to their duties for all eternity. They recounted tales of ghostly apparitions, phantom screams, and the relentless, haunting song that echoed through the vessel, a lament for souls lost to the depths. As the legend of the Shadow Marauder continued to spread, daring adventurers and treasure hunters were drawn to the Bermuda Triangle like moths to a flame, driven by the promise of unimaginable riches. But the horrors that awaited them were beyond their darkest nightmares. The Shadow Marauder became a twisted beacon, a siren's call that lured the greedy and the foolish to their doom. Ships disappeared without a trace, their crews joining the ranks of the tormented souls who served the malevolent Captain Grimm. And so, the Bermuda Triangle remained a place of unspeakable terror, a realm where the living and the dead clashed in a never-ending battle. Captain Samuel Grimm and his Shadow Marauder became the stuff of legends, their story a chilling reminder that in the darkest corners of the world, there were forces beyond human comprehension, and the price of greed and cruelty could be paid in the most horrifying of ways. The Bermuda Triangle continued to guard its secrets, a realm where reality and nightmare intertwined, where the echoes of the past could reach out and claim the unwary. Those who dared to venture into its cursed waters did so at their own peril, for the curse of Captain Grimm and his ghostly crew was a force that could never be escaped, a force that would endure for all eternity.